taking the idle loans.
Okay. Hey guys, we're live on Facebook. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to hop on. This is our first real chamber chat with a guest. So, Jonathan, thank you so much for being our first guest. This is Jonathan Wade with Wade Accounting Services. So, we appreciate you so much for being part of our chamber chat. We've been on live for about 25 seconds. So I'm going to give everybody a few more minutes. Jonathan, tell us about your business and what you do and where you're located and how people can reach you.
We're Wade Bookkeeping and Tax. It's me and my father, Dennis Wade, and a lot of people know him. We're in Ridgetop, in Greenbrier area. We work virtually though now with everything going on. So
Yeah.
we're on the cloud. And you can check out, we have a webpage, wadebookkeeping.com. You can check that out and reach us through there.
Perfect. Do you guys have social media at all?
We do have a Facebook page that we've been posting stuff to, so you can check us out on Facebook.
Good deal. So I asked Jonathan to be our host today. I'm on an email list that he sends to clients, and so I received a great email that had really good information in it that I know a lot of our members are interested in. It's something that's really relevant right now to them during this time of crisis and looking for relief and ways they can receive funding. So I asked him to come on as our expert today to tell us all about what he knows about SBA. I said, I feel like an SBA expert until I wake up. And then I wake up in the morning, I'm like, everything I thought that was so true, and I was so confident in my knowledge goes away so fast. It goes away. So we're going to go ahead and start. There's going to be some questions people can ask us, and Carly's going to try to keep me abreast as to what those questions might be, so we can make sure we get questions answered today. But at the end of this, I want you to tell them how they can reach you, how they can become your customer and your client, and how you can serve them. Okay.
All right.
All right. So the first question is, what should business owners consider when they are looking at SBA loan options?
Well, right now, the two big SBA loan options are economic injury disaster loan and the Paycheck Protection Program, which is the big one that everybody's probably heard about and talked about. The Paycheck Protection Program loan, it can be completely forgiven, which is why it's such a big deal. It is based, though, it's basically to help you cover your payroll. And they take your average payroll for last year, divide it by 12, multiply it by 2.5, and that's the funds you get. And as long as you spend 75% of that in that 8 weeks after you get the money on payroll, then the whole thing can be forgiven.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. It's free money that's sitting there for you. That's why most people are applying for it. That's the one that we kind of encourage people to go for it, because payroll is one of your biggest expenses. The other loan is economic injury disaster loan. It's a loan up to $2 million with a 3.75% interest rate. But it can be used to cover pretty much any of your other business expenses.
Any fixed cost, right?
Any fixed costs.
Yeah. So that's mortgage or utilities, payroll, interest on credit cards, any fixed costs, anything that's not, you can't cover inventory on it or buy new merchandise, but anything that's a reoccurring cost.
Yeah, you don't, but it's for all that other stuff. And it's also one of the big things it can be used for is if you're a landlord and you're losing rental income, you can't apply for that loan. They do sometimes will help you out with using that loan to help out landlords that maybe are giving all their renters a break.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of the initiatives right now really are geared toward making sure people have an opportunity to stay employed, which is why the PPP loan is so popular. Mm-hmm. So from my understanding, though, the SBA EIDL loan, the loan request amount went down yesterday. You could originally apply for $2 million, and now they've lowered that, I think.
Yeah, I haven't seen what the new amount is, but I have heard they've lowered it. In fact, I heard right before I came on, I heard they have actually stopped accepting applications for now, while they process some of the ones they've got and are waiting on Congress to increase their funding.
Yeah, which I think they will. I mean, every indication says they're going to increase it.
Yeah, and there's probably a lot of stuff on social media about the PPP money's all gone. I do know that it's been heavily applied for. They are looking at expanding that program though too, and I know some banks still do have some money that they're working through applications to get out to people.
So I think it's important that people know to apply for the EIDL, that Economic Injury Disaster Loan. You go through SBA.com. You fill out the information there.
Yes.
What information are they going to need to fill that
Um,
application out?
Right now, the key thing they're going to need to know is there's a whole list of questions about what the disaster that's affecting you, how it's affecting you. You need to know kind of what your sales normally are, what you're projecting you to lose, expenses that you're going to end up having. If you're a landlord, you got to be able to kind of tell them how much rent you're expecting to lose. Then they're going to ask for maybe some copies of previous year's tax returns. Might ask for a personal financial statement, a list of the liabilities you have. So you need to be able to kind of have your finances in order so you can be able to provide that to them.
Some of that information, if you're a QuickBooks customer, you can get that information at QuickBooks, but the easiest thing to do, in my opinion, is to call your guy like you.
Your accountant or bookkeeper, somebody you've been working with, they should be able to help you through the application process. The SBA is normally pretty good about helping you to answer questions, but they are slammed right now with phone calls and emails and everything going on.
Yeah, so that's the EIDL, SBA.com. But to apply for the PPP, where do they have to go?
Go to your local bank. If you're a business and you've got a relationship with a banker, you need to apply with your local banker. They will normally help walk you through it. And also the big thing about PPP, which I forgot to mention, if you are a small business with a Schedule C on your personal tax return and you don't have any employees, you still qualify for the PPP.
That's a big deal.
They don't, since you don't have any employees, they can't take wages, but what they do is they take that net income that you have and they use that to calculate how much you can qualify.
Your loan amount. Yeah.
So that's been a big help for some people that don't have any employees, but they still have a business.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a lot of our employees are exactly like that. They file a Schedule C. They don't have necessarily, you don't want to say it's not reportable income. It is. It's just not a line item as income. So that was a big question. Really, this is the first time in history that SBA has been able to help those truly self-employed Schedule C employees.
Yeah, it is. And it's a huge thing for self-employed Schedule Cs. Normally, they get left out.
Yeah.
Disaster strike, they kind of get left out in the cold, but they made sure to include them on this one.
Yeah, that's great. That's good information to have. Some other questions that we have is, I don't know the answer to this. What tax credits should business owners be looking at, making sure that they're taking advantage of this year?
Well, right now there's a couple tax credits that they've included in the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which they passed about a week or so before they did the CARES Act. Both have some credits involved with them. The Employee Retention Payroll Tax Credit is kind of the big one. It's an alternative to you can't get the PPP. Maybe you can take advantage of this tax credit. It allows you to get a credit equal to 50% of your qualified wages. So if you pay $10,000 out to maybe 3 different employees, you can get a tax credit up to $5,000 on that.
That's incredible. Yeah.
But you have, in order to qualify, your sales have to drop by more than 50% compared to the same quarter last year. But for a lot of restaurants,
that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah.
You can continue to qualify for it up until you get up to about 80%. So this is a big tax credit that you can take advantage of this year. If you can't get the PPP, or if the PPP is kind of slow getting to you, you can take advantage of it. There is some other tax deferral for Social Security taxes, which is available to all small business owners. The one caveat with all of them is you can't also be using the PPP program.
Okay.
But the deferral is available on employer, so your portion of the Social Security tax, you can put that off this year and then pay half of it next year and then half of it in 2022.
Okay.
The last big tax credit is, and this is something that a lot of people have overlooked, the FFCRA, the first act they passed, actually expanded sick leave and family medical leave for small businesses. If you're an employer and you have fewer than 500 employees, you're now supposed to offer those.
Isn't that funny that the SBA says a small business is under 500 employees?
Yes.
That's pretty broad.
Yeah, it's a pretty broad number. But so most small businesses now we're supposed to be offering sick leave and family medical leave to all employees for sick leave, and to any employee that's been with us for more than 30 days for family medical leave. But they did give us an option. There's a tax credit to pay for it, which is 100% of what you pay for those. You can take a tax credit on that, and so you can get it all back. So it's a way to help hold on to employees that might have to take some time off, particularly with schools being closed.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that
It's one of the qualifiers.
Yeah, one of the qualifiers for the sick leave and family medical leave is if they got to stay home to take their kids, you got to give them the option, and but it's paid for by the tax credit. You can get exempt if you're a small business with fewer than 50 employees. You can get exempt from that. You just got if the exemption is if it's going to basically prevent you from being able to continue operating as a small business.
Yeah, well, you kind of just covered what the CARES Act does and what how employers are needing to make sure they're meeting all those federal guidelines. That was earlier today. This is so funny. It was validation almost. So I had the Department of Labor scheduled to do a 9 o'clock call this morning. That is such a moving target. They really just don't have the authority quite yet to be on camera recorded saying this is what that means as being a federal employee. And I understand that there's laws are passing faster at a faster rate than they've ever passed before to meet a need, which I greatly appreciate. But the details of those things haven't all been hammered out yet. So she could not be on this morning to talk about that CARES Act and what that meant. We're hoping to have her on later on in the next couple of weeks. It just wasn't possible to have her on this morning.
The unemployment, there's a ton of people that file for unemployment. We have a number of our clients who let us know that they're working on that, and they are weeks behind. And I know they're slammed and they're doing their best, and they've opened that up to people with self-employment income. They opened that up to them too. So people with self-employment income now have the option of also going and get unemployment if they can't.
Yeah, so that's one thing I was going to talk about. So that's one thing Jonathan and I didn't talk about, and I didn't know how abreast you were of all those constant changes of unemployment. But if you go to jobs4tn.gov right now and you set up your account and you're unemployed, you can file for unemployment benefits. Self-employed people qualify for the first time ever again for self-employed or for unemployment. That's never happened before. The maximum amount you can get weekly from the state of Tennessee is $275, but the federal government came in and is doing another $600 per week. We were told early on when we did our very first webinar with the CARES Act was that money was primarily put in place so that people could afford to pay for their insurance. Probably their COBRA temporary coverage insurance. That's a very high cost to pay for those premiums. But with that additional $600 a week, you should be able to pay for those premiums. And in the case you have any medical emergencies, you could still have medical coverage. One thing we didn't discuss either was that grant, that magic $10,000 that early on was said, every small business should apply for the $10,000 grant. You can get it up to 3 days. As fast as you apply, you can get a deposit. We all know if it's too good to be true, then it probably is. And I would say that's probably a reality with that grant, but there is some relief available. Tell us about that.
The grant was part of the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. The idea was apply and they'll give you a $10,000 advance. And it would be a grant. They quickly changed that from $10,000 to $1,000 per employee.
Per full-time employee, right?
Per full-time, up to $10,000. And then, as far as I know, nobody has gotten that in 3 days.
No.
We had somebody get it yesterday, but they applied right the day it opened up.
Yeah.
It's that was part of the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. The idea was just get money quick in hand, and that really hasn't worked out.
Yeah, it really hasn't. Again, I've been really impressed by how quick government has moved. We all know that that's typically the government, any entity, federal, state, county, whatever, does not move at a rapid rate. There's just a lot of processes that have to take place. And really that's to protect the taxpayers, to make sure nothing can happen so fast that true due process hasn't taken place. However, in times like this, I was really impressed how quickly decisions were made, but those details weren't quite hammered out. And I don't know that anybody quite grasped what the economic impact was of COVID-19 until things like that EIDL grant money was released. And it was overwhelming the number of people who applied for that $10,000. The chamber applied for it. There is really no business exempt from feeling the effects of this virus on their businesses. And the chamber's not any different in that. So I went straight online, applied for that relief. Haven't gotten it yet, but I'm optimistic. We have 3 full-time employees, and I'll take $3,000 over nothing. So we're going to continue to do all we can to support you guys as chamber members, but more than that, as the business community of Robertson County.
And it's been kind of, banks normally don't move quite as fast as they're moving right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, they've started taking applications on the 3rd, and with 13 days later, and people are already getting money. Banks don't move that fast, and they're working hard to get the money out.
Yeah, if I could ever give a message on behalf of my fellow, I was a banker before I was a chamber president, and before I was a chamber vice president, I was a banker first. And please be patient with your loan officers right now and your bank employees right now. They are moving as fast as they can possibly move to get paperwork processed. So please, I see online, I haven't heard anything. Well, give them a minute. Take a breath. Take a break. I know everyone's under a tremendous amount of stress. There's bills that are due, and I completely respect that. But just know people are really, really working as hard as they possibly can for you.
And they were, when the PPP got passed and Congress kind of put this on them and the SBA put it on them, they gave them some very vague instructions and nothing beyond that. So they've been trying to figure this out as they go. And at the same time, they get new instructions from the SBA
every day,
and they have to change what they just came up with. So
I will say they were the last ones notified. Like, I remember listening to an SBA conversation, having this great webinar with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, learning about resources, calling my local banks, and then calling me back going, "What are you talking about?" Like, that, stop. We're not doing that. I'm like, but you are. Like, I just heard you're going to be doing that. And they are, and they're just working as fast as they can work. There was just, cart before the horse sometimes.
The very first PPP we were helping a client with, we called the banker, and the banker's answer was, "I have no idea what to ask.
Right.
You give me what you think I'm going to need." And he was like, we'll sort through it as we go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, like I said, they're all working as hard as they can possibly work with, like you said, very vague information or not any information at all, and information that changes constantly. I mean, I remember saying out loud on one of the first webinars that I hosted, talking about the EIDL grant and saying, yeah, it's $10,000 and we're encouraging everyone to apply. And supposedly everybody gets this magic pot of money. But I remember saying then, I'll believe it when I see it. And I haven't seen it.
They've had, I can't remember the exact number, but I saw this morning that they had I think it was like 1.3 million businesses have so far applied for PPP loans. That's a lot of businesses. And
that's a lot of businesses, yeah.
And that's still just the tip of the iceberg as far as the number of small businesses in the country. So.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But there is a lot of relief. We've got great local resources. We have an amazing network of community banks that are willing to serve you. I don't know any of them right now that don't have a resource or option for you. Even if they're not doing the loan in-house, they have a resource to refer you to. So if you have, if you're banking in Robertson County, any of the Robertson County banks, then you have an opportunity to be served with PPP. Be patient and understanding of the fact that they are working as hard as they can. But in the meantime, if you need someone to help with your books, especially during this time, and making sure you're getting to take advantage of every opportunity available through tax credits, call Jonathan Wade. He can help you. Tell them how they can reach you, Jonathan.
You can give us a call at 615-859-5772, or you can email me at jonathan@wadebookkeeping.com, or you can reach out to us on Facebook.
Perfect. Well, that's a great resource we have right here in Robertson County. Thank you for spending the last 20 minutes with us and informing our business community of how you can serve them and what resources are available for them. I think we all right now are doing all we can to make sure that the people that we love, the businesses that we have that have grown to be part of our lives, can last. So many small businesses put so much hard work into their business before this happened, and I don't want to see any of that wasted. I want to do all I can to help them preserve that.
And it's been really, it's been kind of amazing to watch some of the ingenuity and outside the box thinking that some of the local business owners have done to try to make sure that they're still offering their services and their products.
Yeah, I agree. I've really been proud of our business community. First of all, I've been proud that they took the order so seriously and they did all they can to protect our community. And they put others above themselves, and that's something that should be honored and commended. And second, you're right, their ingenuity has been incredible, and our community has embraced this new process in order to support them. My niece is a flight attendant, but she's driving for premium food delivery while she's furloughed from her job. And she is crazy busy, and people have been so generous with tips and being kind and leaving great messages and just telling her thank you for her work and just encouraging her. And we have a great community that we live in, and we're a resilient country. So I know that we're going to bounce back from this better than ever, but it's going to take every single one of us doing our part to make sure we can support our local economy.
Yep.
Now you can tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. for our next Chamber Chatter. We resurrected the name Chamber Chat. Carly actually created this great logo, and Chamber Chat's the name, but she didn't know that years ago, Margot used to do a radio show, and it was called Chamber Chatter, and it was on WDDL. So I said, I was going to say, let's use Chamber Chatter. So we're the new 2.0 version of Chamber Chatter is now Chamber Chat. So you can see us in the morning at 10 a.m. with our next special guest. Thank you again, Jonathan, for spending a few minutes with us and telling us how what resources are available for our business community. Reach out to him and his team if they can serve you in any way.
Well, thank you all for having me, and thank you all for everything y'all are doing for the community.
Thanks, Jonathan. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much.